Hey, everybody, and welcome to Successfully Spiritual. I'm here with Melanie Esperon of Reiki Room, who I love, and you guys have already heard her multiple times on the podcast. Hello, Mel.
Hi sis, how you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. 2023, baby.
I know. I know. Are you ready for it? I feel like I need to say, are you ready
Sure.
for it? Because it hasn't started.
It's like a kid. You're like, sure,
You're like,
I'll show up.
whatever.
Yeah.
I'm here. Where am I going? All right. All right, guys. So last time, I don't even know, Mel, because I don't even know if you actually, never mind. Last time I talked about spiritual loneliness last week. And
Mm.
the reason I kind of was hitting on that topic is because the energy and a lot of people that have I've been reading have been really been feeling not only the loneliness, but maybe the confusion in where am I right now in my life? I'm at a place, a lot of people are like at this place where they're like, do I continue forward with maybe my life purpose or what I thought was my life purpose? Do I continue forward with this relationship? And it's kind of like I've been getting the same message over and over for people in not everyone, but majority of people. You need to keep going.
Yeah.
Like you need to keep going. And
Mm.
so I really was today, like the last couple of days, really sitting with that word, like determination. Like how determined are you? And so I thought today we'll come together and talk about it and just kind of roll with it, see what spirit has and what they're going to bring into the conversation because they always steer us a little to the right and a little to the left.
Totally, totally. Yeah. In this year too, I had this preconceived notion from spirit that 2023 is a power year, which it really is. But with my background, and I think you and I are very similar, we like to tick in our power in the masculine energy, meaning write the list, check it off. We're both moms. So it's like, we ain't got time, just do it. Right.
Mhm.
But as we approached January, at least for me, I was sitting in an event, channeling messages, and then also meditation with myself. And Spirit's like, you got it right. We are in the power of 2023 in the senses of hmm, getting everything that it is that you want. But for the first 6 months of 2023, we need to step into the feminine.
Mm.
Oof. And I was like, oh, do you want to explain to them what that looks like?
Oh gosh. I'm saying oh gosh because it's been such a divine masculine. The feminine is something that I've really had to understand and break down. And I feel like so many of us, the divine feminine is who, and this is male or female, by the way, guys. This is
Right.
not anything, it's just male or female. Um, the divine feminine for many of us is something that unfortunately should be natural, but is not natural for us because we've
Yep.
all kind of gotten used to living in this divine masculine energy. And so when we talk about the divine feminine, right, we're talking about our intuition. That's like number one. Our connection
Yep.
to that higher consciousness, our higher power, the connection to self, because in essence, we are that. We are all of that. So having that inner connection, following your intuition, experience, the beauty of your sensuality, of course, and being nurturing, but also with abundance and with compassion. It's all the divine feminine. But I think the key part is in this, and I like how you said, this is the key part of the start is we have to be in the divine feminine for the next months because as much as I talk about, being sensual or compassion or abundance or intuition, all these things, oftentimes we are often looking at these things to other people, right? I can be compassionate to other
Right.
people. I can do these things and be sensual with other people, right? But when it comes to ourselves, we're not fully allowing ourselves to embody those aspects for our own self. And so I
Yes.
think that's one of the biggest things when you're we really have, in these first months of 2023 is divine feminine. It's the question I actually hear for spirit right now is how are you going to show up for yourself? What are you
Mm.
choosing? Are you going to choose to remain in this very masculine, structural, definitely amazing energy as well, or are you going to lean into the part of the intuition? Because I also tell people that it's a balance, right? You can't have one without the other, right?
Yeah.
You can't have dark
Yeah.
without light. You can't have that. And it's not that you guys want to be all divine feminine, and it's not that you want to be all divine masculine, right? We want to be both of them.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I think most of us have probably been leaning into the masculine more so. What about the masculine? Do you want to tell them what that is?
Ooh, yeah, that's me. No, I'm just kidding. That's me in New York City. It's that move, 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 get out of my way. I got shit to do. Right. And I love that piece of me when it's appropriate. And I feel like what spirit has shown me visually, because I'm clairvoyant like you, I see things, right? They showed me, usually they'll show me the 4 seasons of the year, right? To pre-plan and to download and to research and really just allow the ideas to come. And they said, no. See 2023 as two spaces, just like the yin and the yang, the black and the white, right? The feminine first, which is that black energy, which I didn't know until like a couple years ago when I studied Chinese medicine. The black is the yang, the yin. Isn't that funny? The feminine, that grace, that nurturing. If you have a project, nurture it. You're the project, essentially, what we're talking about. So nurture you. The masculine is that white energy, right? That yang, move, go in purity with that pre-plan of you nurturing that baby, that project, yourself, and move forward in that. There's all the receiving that comes with it.
Right.
Okay. So it's this year is the transformation year. It's the power year. It's you recognizing who you are. You don't have to reach too hard. You can attract it in. That's like our practice in general. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So you would say basically the masculine is there being the active one, right?
Yep.
It's the one that's like, right. I know for me, spirit slapped me on the back of the head because I probably like you came into 2023 and I was like, here's my list. This is where we're going. But what's funny, right? Because spirit always talks to us in our readings. I'm over here telling people like rest and recharge, rest and recharge.
Yes.
And then I'm like, what's happening? And spirit's like,
yep.
rest. So with that, the masculine is let's get shit done, while the feminine is like let's rest and recharge. And let's really connect to that, right? Where it's like you said, the nurturer, it's the healer within us. And the masculine is that leader. It's the leader part. So you need both. But I was over here like telling people to rest and recharge, doing collective readings, rest and recharge. And then I was like, okay,
not embodying it.
Yeah, I'm like, let's plan a retreat. Let's plan Reiki class. Let's plan,
Yeah, same. We were doing this in November of last year. And you know what's funny? Spirit just gave me a visual and I giggle to myself because it's kind of like you want this man's attention, right? That's the masculine. Like go after him, be aggressive. And then it's like, or cook a bomb ass meal and he smells it and he comes towards you, right? It's like that.
Yeah.
Just nurture what you got. He'll come to you. Right? And
that's so good.
And it's that trust inside of you. Like, this is good. Whether it's a man that you're trying to attract in, a female, a project to really come into production and fruition, whatever it is, it's like nurture the baby, because the baby, as it grows, it's so cute. It's going to attract in for sure, especially when it's well behaved. Right.
Oh, I love that, because that's exactly what it is. It's like, have that time in that moment to really like feed it. Right. And just with it. And I think that's why, like today, when we're talking about determination, it's that we always want everything that so many of us are trained to like it constantly. The wheel has to constantly be moving, right? And if it's moving slow, it's like we got to make it move fast enough,
right? I feel uncomfortable,
right? And if it doesn't move fast enough, then we obviously are doing something wrong. And it's like no, and that's where I tell people like just because we're in this where everybody's questioning everything, that determination, which is. If you guys are really like, okay, what is this with the determination? It's that commitment to achieve your goals, regardless of, what you're here maybe struggling with mentally or what you're, struggling with in, the logisticals of things. But it's like, I'm determined that this is where I'm at. And so often in my readings, I pose an exercise, or even in my coaching, it's like when people are like, I'm really stuck in the sense of like, is this for me? I always tell people like, close your eyes, call it in. Close your eyes and call it in.
Yeah.
When you call it in and you imagine yourself in that space of all your manifestations coming true, you imagine yourself, achieving that love or achieving that job or career. Do you have a peace about it? Because our energy can't lie, right? Like
1000%.
Yeah.
And you're creating such a great segue to what I'm about to say.
Go ahead.
It's I was asked to speak at a conference next month, February of 2023, and I haven't been in touch with the host yet. And then in mid-January, a few days ago, I go, yo, what do you want me to speak about at your conference? And she goes, about being a queen, how you run your business, all these things. I'm like, okay, cool. I know what I do internally, but it's not, when you're in your own boss, you're a proprietor, you kind of are like, you just do whatever you want, right? There's certain methods you use and step into, but they're very natural. So I never put it on paper, like, what is my mission? What does my methods look like? So I sat in silence for a day. I literally didn't talk to anyone. It was a Sunday. I don't really have sessions on Sundays. And I go, Spirit, what are my pillars of Reiki Room? Right? What are my pillars of life? And they said light. And I go, well, yeah, I know, light, love. They're like, no, light. Look at the acronym. And I'm like, oh. And so what came through me as a download was the 5 pillars of Reiki Room, which is basically mind, body, soul connection, is light. You just said it. L for listen. You got to listen to yourself. What is it saying to you? Should you slow down? Should you speed up? I set the intention. What do you want to come of this? You set the goal, right? We want to make money. We want to be seen, whatever it is. But when you set the intention, that should never change. I want to help people, right? I'm like, oh, and this is downloading through me. And I'm like, sweet. I'm writing it down. It's my speech, right? G, give back. Usually, if I hear G, I hear green means go. That's what I think as a masculine energy, right? They're like, no, give back. They're like, you do this so well too, though. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, go show up for your people, go support them, right? Go to the events. If you don't have money, give them your time. I'm like, oh, yes, right? That creates connection, trust, right? Here's the bitch. Okay, so they got to the H. I'm like, what's H mean? Heal, right? And they're like, no, it's get honest. I'm like, what do you mean by that? Be honest with my clients? They're like, no. You got to get honest with yourself. Is LIG working for you?
Oh.
Are you truly listening to yourself? Are you truly setting an intention that you believe in? And are you going out there and giving back? If you're not doing those, we got to start all over. And I was like, oh my God, the H is like the mirror, right? Oh dear. And then T is trust. What I often find, what Spirit was downloading and teaching me in that moment was, people I would work with, including myself, we go from, I believe in God, I believe in the light, take me to trust, right? Do nothing in between. And they're like, no, the work is listening, setting the intention, giving back. So
Right.
I read your post on Instagram, I think it was a week ago, and you're like, I'm feeling a little stagnant, feeling a little lonely. I'm like, same, right? We all feel the same, right? We're in retrograde. It's the beginning of the year. We just had all these holidays in a row, and now we're like, what do we do now?
Right.
And Spirit's like, listen, go set the intentions now. Go give back to yourself, take care of you, get honest. Or we're always shifting. And so when I started to apply, that's the key word, application.
Yeah,
I started to apply the light, right? I started feeling feminine. I started to give back and nurture myself. And that's why we're here today. You hit me up randomly, like, let's do a podcast episode on determination. I'm like, perfect. I know exactly what I want to talk about. Light.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, light doesn't mean you have to be running all the time. Light could be like you sit with the candle. That's it.
I love that.
Feminine.
I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, my thing is, I think the key thing for me lately, if I look at your acronym and where I'm at, it's like trust. It's like I'm always preaching that. That's my biggest thing that I preach is trust. And learning how to trust what you feel, trust what you see, trust what you know for yourself, trust. And it's funny because that's literally what I'm hearing in my own head for myself, right? It's like, come on,
right.
like you just got to trust. And it's
just
like,
trust. Yeah.
Okay. And so one of the things too, in particular, I was doing this thing, Gabby, I'm going to bring Gabby Bernstein in because Gabby Bernstein does a manifestation challenge every start of every year. And it's something that I do every year. And I like it. It's this quick little manifestation she gives and it's a challenge. And so one of the things though, that came up the other day, and it really was the perfect timing, is she talks about something called driftwood. And she talks about it in the sense that ask Spirit to show you the signs and symbols of that you are on the right track. Pay attention to the driftwood that's in your presence. And I'm not talking about, show me a yellow circle if this is the right thing for me. No, I'm talking about the little ways that the universe or spirit shows up to say, we got you, or you're on the right path, and not to give up. Don't keep going. Because oftentimes I think as we're going along this journey, right, we're looking for that finish line. We're looking for the, I crossed it, I did it, we can put the crown on me, I made it. Where along that journey, there's all these things of coming into our path, right? That's like I got you. I got you. You know, hey, you're on the right path. Keep going. Keep going. I'm thinking water stations. If you ever did a run, like, here's your water. But
Right.
that day I was like, all right, spirit, let's do it. Show me the freaking driftwood. What do you got for me? Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
you know, and literally, and
Help.
yeah, help. I'm not one to brag. And you're going to laugh at me because, like I said, I've been very honest with how this month has been a little crazy. It's been
Yeah.
slow where I've literally, like, oh my God, like, am I going to go work at, you know, Amazon for part time? Like, what am I going to do? I'm
Am I
not
going to start
really.
Uber Eat driving?
Right. But you always stay in the back of my head because I remember a conversation I had with you not too long ago, and you were like, Isabel, you freaking support your family. Like, you're fine. And I'm like, I guess so. But anyways,
Yeah.
driftwood showed up, is my needless to say. I asked Spirit for driftwood, and I think I was talking to my mom, and my mom's a very judgy person. And of course she's gonna give it to me like it is, if anyone's gonna give it to me like it is. And she literally
Oof.
was like, no, like, what are you thinking? Like, no, you're good at where you're at. You do
Yeah.
well. Just because you're having a hard month, it's like you do fine. You know, I'm like, all right, cool. And then I'm not lying. I think in TikTok and in Instagram, all of a sudden I had like DMs of people like just thank you, or
Mm.
you're great, or you know, just appreciating and
The
gratitude.
driftwood. Huh?
Huh?
That's the driftwood, huh?
That was the
Like,
driftwood.
yeah, you good, you good.
And
And it's funny what I see most healers around me, including myself, we're shifting into this space of superabundance where we're used to getting paid every single day. And now we're like, huh. But then it comes in big ass chunks. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Nurture the project, watch it nurture you back.
yes.
We're just shifting. It's like what energy is, right? It cannot be created nor destroyed. It just can take different forms. So it's just shifting and moving. It's not gone though, right? The gift ain't gone. The clients ain't gone. They're asking you to do something different, which really it makes sense to what we've been creating since last year. We're
Yeah.
about to switch up the game with a project we have in what, 2 months?
I'm
Right?
so
It actually makes sense. They're like creating the space for us, and we're like freaked out. I
it's
swear
not in
we
our
asked for this.
control.
We legit asked for this. I remember we were sitting at my dining table and we're like, I don't want to do it this way. I want to do it this way. And they're like, noted. That's why we got to be careful what we ask for and say out loud. I'm telling
For
y'all,
real.
like,
For real.
that shit is noted by spirit, every single guide on the other side. Our energy goes that way, even if we are subconsciously thinking it. Got to get clear. That's the feminine. Get clear, nurture the baby. I oftentimes find one of my friends, I did a reading for him on Sunday. I haven't talked to him in like a year. Follow him on social media. He's big time, right? The close friend though. No matter what he did in this life, I would love him just as he is. And we caught up, we did a little reading. And then his best friend, who's a close friend of mine, goes, yo, Mel, I'm sitting with blah, blah, blah. I love you. And I was like, yo, it's time for us to catch up. It's been a year, right? And in those connections alone, one, it lifted my frequency, and two, more bookings and whatever came through in that second because I felt love. I felt light. I felt at a high frequency. Oh, energy is everything, right?
Energy is everything. And I'm saying you keyed on like something that's so important. I think, well, multiple things in that conversation, because as we talked about January, especially in the next couple of months, you were like, we're in the divine feminine, let's slow down, receive, and nurture. And I want to go back into the clarity, but also in the fact as when you sit in this energy of love, and here's the thing, and we said it off camera before we came on, it's like we all are in, how do you guys, I'm like, my guides are telling me to slow down. Sometimes my head goes a little fast, so I have to like rewind. Before 2023 came into play, meaning before we were actually in this year, I remember telling people this year is a year that you get to create your own reality. Yes, we've always done it. We've always done it. But this is different. This is literally like, I imagine when I was a kid, those choose your own adventure books. Are you going to go left? Are you going to go right? And it's, you guys have to understand, I feel like Spirit's literally giving me this download. As we navigate through 2023, it's not going to stop. You guys are constantly going to be proposed with the questions left or right, left or right. There's not a wrong or a right way. It's just that you guys have to create the energy of where you want to move into. And when we're in an energy of resting and receiving, it's not that we're not doing. You're not doing because you're
That
resting.
is the doing.
is
That
the
is the
doing.
doing, though. We're
Yeah.
doing to we're receiving. That's doing. That's an action too. It
Yeah.
takes practice too, especially for us hustlers, right? Us
Right.
entrepreneurs. Like
Always.
that's
Mine
the
always.
hardest part. I can move all day. When you ask me to rest, I'm like, what's wrong? Everyone's like, nothing. Yesterday's my only day off. Sundays are my days off, and usually it's filled with kid shit or whatever.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the kids with me for a moment in time, and I was like, what do I do? My sister's like, nothing. Do nothing. And I was so uncomfortable doing nothing or nothing of purpose or creating because I'm so
Right.
used to that that I was like, okay, this is exactly what they're trying to me to do. Chill.
That's what I'm
So
saying. That's
if
what
y'all
spirit.
are like us, oh sorry, cut you
No,
off.
I'm waiting. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, when they're basically saying if you guys feel uncomfortable with the relaxation, be there now is basically what they're saying.
Yeah. Right. Right. And yeah, I don't have anything else to say on that one. I'm like, okay, I was going to say something and I was like, Spirit's like, nope, that's good. But I think the question too is like, what do you guys want to do? What's your energy? What's the energy you're choosing to be in?
Mm.
We're constantly with that same energy of like, I think when I imagine determination, it's like, yeah, I'm being a leader. Yeah, I got that fight in me. Yeah, I'm going to keep pushing. Yeah, I'm going to keep, focusing on manifesting. I'm going to keep knowing and trusting the universe, like you said, that it's going to come to me. I'm going to be open to receiving, but not controlling. And oftentimes I think that when we manifest or we're waiting for the universe to show up, we're still holding it, right? And that's always tell people like, we're holding it like this. We're holding it so tight in our
Yeah.
fist that you're not letting it breathe. But in that area of breathing, allow yourself to gain clarity. Like I love that you
Mm.
brought that up. Like what clarity is it, right? And clarity is really important because you're getting a clear understanding of what you see for yourself, what you hear for yourself, what you feel for yourself. So it's like allowing yourself to really look at that clarity and keep going because you guys are at this crossroad that many of us are switching timelines right now. I feel it's either some of us are going to continue down this timeline of beautiful abundance and prosperity and things that you've been wanting to manifest for the last 10, 15 years. And then
Yeah.
some of us are like, it's too hard. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. The shift. Yeah,
Mhm.
I believe 2020 prompted 2023. In the essence of 2020 was that tower card in tarot, that burning of the tower, like, uh-oh, all systems are breaking, right? And in essence, now it's like it wasn't a uh-oh, it was good, right? And then 2021 was like, who do you want to be? You have the opportunity to shift. Everyone's allowed to right now, even though we know we can shift at any time, right? It's just everyone was doing it. 2022 was here's all your buffet options. Let's take you through a roller coaster. Let's take a look at everything that are options. 2023, we're like, we got off the roller coaster. We're like, what do we do now? They're like, pick one and then go there and watch the doors open further and further. The more you nurture it, though, right? It's that softness. It's more like if you think about Disneyland, we were on the Manhorn or we are on Space Mountain, and now we're on It's a Small World. They're like coast. Everybody coast, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that. Right? This is me like stepping in, chilling with a chip bag. Like, all right, I can mess with this. Yeah.
I
I
think it's a
mean,
small world, like,
relaxation. I'm
yeah,
here for it.
a small world with a little bit of like, all right, we're going to hit fast forward here. Okay, we're going to have fast forward here. Okay, slow
Small
down.
world with hip hop.
Rewind.
Yeah, yeah, with a little remix, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm here for it. So if you guys are losing hope on this determination within you, it's like, love yourself more. The answer is always within. What, as healers, Isabel and I and many others, we know we're here to remind you of who you are. And the way we do it is we help you to delayer old beliefs and conditionings that you thought were once real for you. And now they're not. And so you're like, where do I go? I'm like, be you right now. That's where we wanted to go.
Right. I feel like too, the one thing when you're saying that right now, Spirit's like also be creative, have fun. You guys like
Oh
have
yeah.
fun. Um, I think there's a lot. I'm just looking off to the right because I'm like listening to Spirit right now. I think there's a lot of that in the sense of like, yeah, you're resting, we're restoring, we're coming into this space of clarity, but have fun with it. Like mix it
Yeah.
up, do things differently. Like you're bored, try something new. This isn't working for you. Okay, ask yourself a new way of doing it, but have fun with it. I think uniqueness in
Mhm.
2023 is so key. It's so key.
Mm. Yeah. Try
Yeah.
things you always wanted to. You'll find magic there, right?
Yeah.
Fun, 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 fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's hard though when you're pressed for cash or time, right? Like that's a slap in the face, I would say, when people are like, fuck you, I don't have time. Right. And I'm like, okay, but you can have fun at home by watching a movie or whatever it is that brings you joy. So start there and watch your time elevate. Right.
mhm, mhm. And one of the things too, I think I'm listening, sorry, so things just reminded me is like, I always tell people too, you guys with determination, you define your own success. You define your own success,
Oh
you
yeah.
know? And then also like when I coach people, I'm like, don't look at someone's chapter 20 and like expect that to be your chapter 1. I think that's often time too when you're like, wait, it's not coming fast enough, or things aren't happening, or I'm doubting myself, or I'm questioning it.
Yeah.
Sit with it. That's all I can say, guys. That's it. I think that's it when this whole talk is like, sit with it. Just sit with it. Is it still right for you? Are you in the right move? Are you going the right way? Just sit with it. But also, my chapter 20 isn't going to be your chapter 1. And just because it's not your chapter 1 doesn't mean you're doing something wrong or it's not for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. It's that light. Listen, right? Goes back all the way to the acronyms of light. What we're talking about right now is that getting on. It's like, yeah, just like Isabel said, it's like her happiness might not be yours, right? Some people tell me they want to travel the world and make their money that way. And I think that's dope, but that's not really what I want to do. I'll travel, but not like that, right? So everyone's different, and as we should be, right? That's the gift. We're all different. So,
Yeah.
yeah, comparison. Whoever wrote that is the thief of joy. Ain't that the truth?
Right.
Yeah. No thanks.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. This 2023 was crazy. I came in with, well, not I, we all did. It's like we started with Mercury retrograde. We rolled into
Ugh.
new moon.
Yeah.
I
I was
was like,
like, yes. I was like, please don't tell me anymore. I don't want to know about these retrogrades. I swear, I've told every client since January 1st, when I didn't know what retrograde was, better off. I swear. I didn't even know what it was until like 2 years ago. I'm like, oh God. It's like we're always in like what's that? Like you're always on the treadmill, right?
mhm.
Going nowhere, just running in place. I don't like that energy.
I don't either. And I never really,
But
that's funny you said that because I've never really experienced retrogrades till probably the last 2 years. Everybody else that was like Mercury
same,
retrograde,
because I didn't
Mercury
even want to know
retrograde.
what the heck it was.
Yeah. And then now
Yeah.
it feels like that time rolls around and I'm like, Isabel, just shut your mouth. Just zip it closed. Don't say nothing. Don't
Yeah.
don't say nothing. Because literally I'm the type of person like I have to watch what I say because that's how like everything emotionally will come out. Say yeah.
Almost. Same.
And I'm over here
But it's
like,
funny
yeah.
because retrograde, when you really break it down, it's those RE words, right? Rest, review, reflect, right? And it's like everything we don't like doing. But so I usually surrender into it more. But I think it is a mindset though for us. Like when we hear retrograde, we hear stagnancy, and that's not really what retrograde is. So maybe I need to rename it, right? Retrograde needs to be like rest instead of retrograde because I don't know. I think it's social media has a lot to do with it that messes with my mindset in particular. Oh, it's retrograde. Nothing's working. And I'm like,
No,
that's not it.
no.
Yeah.
I
So
think
it's the way I frame it in my head.
oh no, I don't look at it. I look at it as pay attention. It's always to me, retrograde's a lot about the shadow. It's always like pay attention to what's rising up for you because these are things that either need to be like looked at, reviewed, like, why is it making you angry? Or pay attention to the
Mm,
way that you're communicating, if it is communication, because that is something that's, maybe something you need to work on. So I feel like Mercury retrogrades are a time period where we get to reflect on ourselves in the sense of
and heal.
what's purging or coming up for you that you either need to alter, change, or sit with. And because I think like we talked about, like everything is energy. So of course we're emotional beings, and in these emotions that are rising for us during the craziness of Mercury retrograde is because there's things in us that either need to be purged, looked at, reviewed for some sense, or released. And so I'm not scared of it. For me, it's like it's a good reminder that it's there because I can understand like, oh, you're not crazy. Like you're literally not insane right now. Um,
Oh, okay. It's like, I
I,
see.
I can just
Yeah.
blame it. I can just
It's
blame
kind
my
of like
retrograde.
when a woman is on her cycle. It's like,
Yes.
oh, yeah, one of those. Truly.
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
man, to be a female.
Yeah. And then that's so funny. I just had that talk with my boyfriend. I was like about being on the cycle. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not a nice person those first 2 days. It's like literally I can feel every part of my hormones rising in me and I know it's going to come out my mouth. I know it is. And I'm just like, don't talk to me because I can't control it.
That's that Virgo energy. Like, oh dear God. And you guys, it's funny. You guys have the same birthday, right?
Same sun, same moon, same rising. Yeah.
That's insane to me. Every time you say that, I'm like, oh my God. It's like looking in the mirror 24/7. Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good and bad. Good and bad. Good and bad, I'm sure.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother conversation because I always say like when you're really with your twin flame, good and bad, it's been things that I've had to learn in the sense of motivation and different energies and how it affects me when he's not motivated or when he is motivated and our tie
Mm.
into our own energies, like very connected. It's been really interesting.
That's going to be a fun topic one day that we talk about twin flames.
Yeah, do
It's a
they
good one.
exist? Do they not? I mean, everybody always asks those
Yeah.
questions.
Right? Like, what is a soulmate? What's a twin flame? I'm like, oh, girl, give me an hour.
Okay,
Let's sit.
we need to do a podcast on that because I'm
Yeah.
seriously over the whole sorry guys, I'm gonna be honest. I love you all. I love you clients. So grateful for you. But when you ask me the question, is he your soulmate? Oh, it's like one of those questions that I'm just
Yeah.
like, there's
Yeah.
so many definitions for soulmates. There's so many.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
And it's not always the, I don't know. A soulmate doesn't mean the perfect
Romance.
human being, and it doesn't mean it's romance. I don't
Yeah.
think
Because
twin
no one
flame
is
is a
perfect.
perfect human being or romance either. So
Ooh, twin flame. Yeah. I definitely have my reservations on it. I wouldn't want to be romantically connected to my twin flame. I mean, if they reflect every single lesson you go through, that's a tough one. And for you to really be living this out on accident, right? I air quotations. It's like, wow, yeah, all you're doing is learning 24/7 in your face. But it's so beautiful because I'm sure when you guys reach a lesson and it's completed, there's a lot of reward there too, right? So
yeah,
that must be beautiful.
it
Yeah.
is. It is. There was a lot of reflecting. And I think that's too, like you guys, I know when we talk about determination with love, let's do that. Let's talk about love and determination for a second.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't even know because I think that's one of those things too that this last year in 2022, guys, and I say that in the sense that we're still in the 22 energy, especially in January. There's a lot of reflecting. So I think oftentimes we approach relationships with that determination of, I have to make it work. I have to make it work. I
Yeah.
got to be determined to make this work. Um, there's a lot of purging that I've seen within relationships of to make room, you guys, make room for those divine connections that I feel are coming through.
Yeah.
But really, I think the only thing when I think of love right now, determination, even though I said that, Spirit's like, the only person that you should be determined to love is yourself. That's it.
I heard the same exact thing when I was going to ask you, what do you mean by love? Is it romantic love, friendship love? And they're like, it's self love. Y'all know.
Self-love.
That's what Spirit said. I'm like, oh, okay. You said it all. I mean, the moment you understand how you like to be loved from yourself is how you teach the people to love you. That's it. It's harder, easier said than done, though, right? But I think that's why us podcasters are here and healing energies are here. Books are available to us to understand, to give us the opportunity to figure out who we are. Okay. And then we attract it in that partner who can really hold the space for you. So the gift of ever changing, right? The only thing that is constant is change. So it's like, who's going to grow with you? Who has those tools that can grow with you? That's to me a soulmate, whether it's a friend or a romantic partner, either or. It's like your ride or dies. That's a soulmate, right?
Right. Right. I agree. Okay. So I have a question for you. When times are hard and tough and you want to give up, how do you keep going?
Oh God, I throw a fit. I'll tell you that. I'm human, so I'll throw a fit. Um, and I'll because I've had a lot of times where I've had the opportunity to learn from this is a no, Mel, right? And burn shit down. So these days it's a lot easier for me to pivot and shift where I'm like, okay, that's not working. So let's try it a different way. So it's easier now. And I recollect myself and I truly spend like a day alone. I listen. I listen. I go, what makes me feel safe and good and happy? How can I really pay attention to that intention? Like, how can I really be of service? If this isn't working, spirit doesn't agree that it's not working. So there's got to be something better anyway. So
Mhm.
I'll listen. I'll interview myself really internally. How do you do it?
I have to remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing and my purpose. And then I'll do a lot of manifestation meditations, but not in the sense that I'm manifesting something. It's in the sense that I'm sitting with spirit to allow
Mhm.
myself to see into the other, like to a future version. Like, is this still right for me? Does this
Yeah.
feel right for me? And then I allow that to kind of guide me through. But that's kind of what I do in the sense. I mean, I'm super blessed and thankful that I can hear spirit because I can hear them say like no or yes or keep going or,
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
hear that part of it. Um, but
For
yeah.
those who don't see in quotations like us, right? I always ask yourself to tap into your actual physical senses and what feels good when you daydream. Think about a time where what would be your most perfect day with work and balance and love and all the things. And in session, when people are like, "I can't see like you," I'm like, "Oh, that's cool, but you can dream something up, right?" So let's imagine you have all the money in the world and all the time. Describe to me your perfect day, right? And we start from there.
Yeah,
So you don't
exactly.
have to be spiritually connected with a spiritual gift. Like we're always connected
Right.
just by law alone, right? So it's like just daydream, right? Just start somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's a tough one. Determination. Whew.
I think
But here's the
everybody
thing.
go ahead.
I just had a reading with someone in LA early this morning. And she was talking about how I don't have time to do my passion projects that I want to turn into my full blown profession. I go, here, let me ask you a question. And she goes, what? It's so left field. I go, imagine a day you get off work at 6 p.m. and there's a man who you think is so hot, so charming, and he hits on you and he goes, hey, do you want to go out to dinner? Your ass ain't tired anymore. I'm going to tell you that. She goes, true. We start laughing so hard. Like, true. So it's this energy of like, do you want to do it? Because when you want to do it, you don't really have a block energetically.
No, that's true. And I had a client the other day too. It's funny. She's had a client, they've been really focused on school and medical stuff. And so I said, they were at that point where they're like, I just don't know. I don't know anymore. And I was trying to encourage them because I could hear spirit saying, where they need to go. And I said, okay, imagine your life without it. You
Yeah.
choose it. You don't choose to continue on, you just end it. How do you feel about that? Just close your eyes, tap into your heart. What do you feel? She's like, I'm sad and depressed. And I'm like,
Oh,
there you go.
yeah. You got an answer.
Then you got your answer.
Hmm.
Is when you have a purpose and you have a passion, you have something, it's something deeper than you. And that's the point. It's like energy doesn't lie. Energy doesn't lie. It's going to keep pulling you and keep pulling you and keep pulling you until you're like, okay.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
then she was like, all right. And I was like, you've answered it. Like you answered your own question. Then you know what you need to do. Keep going.
Right. Right.
That's
Purpose, the driving force, should always be including you, but not about you. Right.
I'm like, almost like, is it ever really? I mean, yeah, we get to enjoy our work and we get to enjoy what we do. That's the part that maybe is about us, but I don't really think it ever is. If your
Yeah.
purpose for like this higher thing or whatever it is, no matter if you're serving in different areas or realms, like it's never really about us. That's the whole part. It can't be. It literally can't because I think our whole part of being human is a dying of ego. So you can't
That's
have it
it.
about
Yeah. Purpose eventually leads to service. Yeah. Outward. Um, some nuggets here, y'all. If you feel like giving up, maybe try to apply something here that we got going on.
I think you said some good things where you're just like, you were saying like if you can't hear, a way to kind of look at it or even if, just sit with it, hold it in your space, allowing spirit to show you signs or symbols that you're on the right path.
Mhm.
Um, I always hear the same thing though. If you don't get any signs and symbols, you might have to look at something else. But no, really,
Yeah.
they're like your energy, for me, energy is a big thing. Energy just doesn't lie. Energy doesn't lie. So doesn't matter if you see, doesn't matter if you hear, doesn't matter whatever, that is. And I think the really thing I wanted to key on this is because we're human. I mean, I get into a space where I question what I do. I get into a space where I'm like, I don't even know anymore if I'm on the right. I mean, I do right now. I am, guys. But, there is points in my life where I'm like, I'm questioning everything. Like, I'm questioning
Mhm.
if, this is the right direction, am I really going to be what I can see, or, are things going to happen? And there's times where I'm just like throw in the towel and go to the 9 to 5, becoming a teacher or whatever it is. I won't do it. That's not my purpose. But I'm saying I'm human. We're all human and we all question, I think, in ways. I mean, I think we all do. Do you?
Yeah. Oh, 1,000%. If you said you never question yourself, you're lying. That is way too cocky to say. Yeah, yeah. No, everyone does question. I was gonna say something, but I forgot what I was gonna say.
I think Mal's experience, like the whole Virgo though in me, is that when I question, my mouth starts going, and then I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm doing this and I'm throwing this, and then I go to the boyfriend and like, leave me, and then
yeah. We throw tantrums. I'm telling you. Like I throw a tantrum, and then I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm back. Right? A lot of people would think I'm bipolar for sure.
oh yeah,
Manic. Oh, I was gonna say this example. It's this is me since like college. We'd go out all the way till now, right? And I'm getting ready for an event, and I throw on 10 billion outfits, and I always end up with the original outfit, right? And I'm like, I need to just pay attention to what my gut said the first time, right? It's
yeah,
weird. It's like, you come on, you already knew that, right? So, in essence, if you're determined to get into a career or find the love, whatever it is, or just pick yourself back up, it's like, go to your original center. If you're not happy, go to a time in your childhood where you felt free and go there. Go do it. Get childlike, right? Go play, right? Bring it back up. There was a stagnancy I hit last year, and I decided to go to New York in November. And for many reasons, it made sense later. But I just picked it up and changed my energy for that week, and it completely changed the rest of 2022 for me.
right.
So sometimes you just gotta make a move that you don't normally make, and don't even have a reason except for you want to.
That's what I had a business coach one time that was saying the same thing. They were like, when you have fun is when you're really creating abundance, but not in the sense that you're having fun in your work. Yeah, have fun in your work. You're going to create abundance. That's 100% correct. But like
Yep.
just in life, when you're just out enjoying life and when you change your energy up and you're just showing up and you're having fun, that's when your abundance really opens up. That's when things
Yeah.
really show up.
Yep.
So yeah, I
Yep.
agree with that.
I think of energy as bubbles. So imagine like you're in a really good energy and your fan is working and those bubbles are just going everywhere and touching all the people. When your energy is high, you have a lot of bubbles out there and they return to you, right? But if you're not, if your energy is low, you don't have a lot of bubbles that touch all the other people. So
Right.
that's what I think of. It's like go have fun, blow the bubbles, and watch the bubbles come back.
Right.
That's what I see as a kid in my mind.
I was listening to this podcast with our favorite Jay Shetty, and
Oh, love
he
him.
did the podcast with Russ, and they actually were talking about determination. I find it interesting because
Yes.
Russ was saying some of the ways that he breaks out. Russ is a rapper, and how he, or whatever, artist, and how he keeps determined. And I find it interesting because you've hit on them, right? Like he was saying, like one of the things he does is he'll step outside of his comfort zone and create music that he's like, it's not even something I like, but I do it because it's allowing my creativity to flow to try something new.
Yeah.
And then the other way he said is sometimes he just does it for fun. It doesn't like
Yep.
he's not producing anything, but he'll just spend hours with a beat or music and just, singing his heart out just
Mhm.
because he's like, it feels good.
Yep.
And so that's allowed him to stay, relevant, but also like that's what's made his determinism, like, okay, I'm going to keep going this because I'm coming back to why I'm doing this. I'm coming back to like that I'm enjoying it and that it's fun. And, that's where he's at. So, yeah.
Yeah. That was a really good interview about expansion. He had a lot of really deep lessons I feel like he learned over time, and the way he articulated it was so beautiful. About just he said something. They have those rapid fire questions at the end, and Jay Shetty asks asked him, said, what would you tell someone? What would be the most ridiculous thing you could tell someone? And he said, be realistic. And I was like, amen. Right? Because when people go, how are you successful with your business? I go, because I'm not realistic. I'm ridiculous. And when I get ridiculous, it comes. Right?
Hmm.
You can't just be normal to have a business, right? Or whatever you're trying to create. Normalcy, consistency doesn't get anyone's attention, right? Um, yeah, crazy.
I'm laughing
Yeah.
at that because I'm like, we're psychic mediums. Of course,
Yeah.
we're absolutely not real. Like,
Oh, yeah. That is
like,
true. That is so true. Like, that's not a realistic gig, right? That you tell your kid growing up, like, be a psychic medium.
this is what I
Right?
want to do.
Yeah. So if anything, you should be even more powered by listening to us. That's what I tell people too when they're at their lowest low. I'm like, listen, you and I are the same. We're both human. And if I can make it
Oh
doing
my God.
this, you can make it doing
That's what
that.
I tell people when they are like questioning, right? So for me, if you guys, I mean, I feel like so many of you guys know my story, right? I'm a mom of four, a
Mhm.
single mom of four. So I'm divorced. I was married for quite some time. And I get, of course, a lot of women that are in the same predicament as me. Like, how am I going to make it if I not with my significant other? What is my life going to look like? That means I have to change
Right.
A, B, C, D, and E. I've never worked. I hear everything. And my thing is like, you guys aren't going to fail because you're not going to let yourself fail. Like, really, you're not. There's not very many
Yeah.
people I've ever met that's like, I'm going to fail. No, you're not going to let yourself fail. Will things be hard? At times, absolutely. But your drive and your desire for a better life is going to create that determination that you're going to be like, I got this. And
Yeah.
if I know, like, if I could do this, I feel like I do feel in my life that no matter where people are at, like, you guys can do this. Like, I don't people think people understand. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's like, I left a life of comfort, and I mean a life of comfort, to let me stick my four children and me in a 900 square foot apartment with 3 bedrooms and from this huge house that had a pool and was beautiful and was basically a dream home, like into this tiny little
Mhm.
apartment, and yeah, make it work.
Yeah. I
I'm
watched
not
that
going
go
to tell
down
you how much
too.
made a month. I made literally my paycheck was $700 a month. Literally when I left. I mean, can you survive $700 a month with 4 children?
In San Diego. Yeah.
But
Oh.
we made it work. And because that's the determination. And luckily, I'm so thankful because Spirit had a whole different path, right? Because I was like, let me go back to teaching and being a preschool teacher and doing this. And Spirit's like, joke's on you. You
Yeah.
back into like,
They're like, you already taken care of. We're saying you're good.
yeah.
No, I watched you go through that. That's why I'm just sitting here like, you did go through that. That was not easy. That was not easy. I remember we recorded a podcast in that original house. I
Yeah.
remember, and I was obsessed with your pool. I was like, "Oh my god, this view is gorgeous." And you're like, "I have to leave it soon." I was like, "Damn it." I was mad for me.
No,
I
you
did.
told me I have to leave it soon in the
I
podcast.
mean, I knew that. Yeah, yeah, but I was like, "No." Selfishly, I'm like, "Can we stay a little longer so we have a pool party?" I mean, she had this pool room, like sun deck room. It was just sick. In San Diego, it looks like a house in the East Coast, to be honest. But yeah, but you're the next time I saw you and you revamped your life, you had a new boyfriend. I was like, damn, I've never seen you happier. Your energy was through the roof. I have pictures to prove it because I took a picture of you and you were just couldn't stop smiling. I was like, damn, like none of that shit matters, right? Because if you can have a house, but did she have a home? You know what I mean? So
Ooh.
determination, people. If you feel like you're gonna fail, the worst thing you can do is not try. That's all automatic fail. Try.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys, and be compassionate. I think we started this off really great. I wish we could have continued talking about the divine feminine because honestly, I think the thing is like be compassionate with you guys' self. Be compassionate. Like you guys are constantly evolving. You're constantly learning. We don't go through a spiritual awakening and then be a know-it-all. Like you're going to constantly evolve, shift, move. And honestly, for a lot of us, you guys may have had plans that you're like, this was my plan and this was the way I thought it was going to go. And then now all of a sudden it's going to the right. You guys, that's fine. It's okay. when we resist the flow is when we create those trials, we create that hardship. You guys have to learn not to resist the flow. Like you have to not resist the flow. You have to let it move, because you may have a plan for yourself, but there's something far better and a far quicker route than you're taking. There's a lot of times I do readings and I tell people, like, they'll be like, oh, I want to move to another job. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to move, but there's still lessons to be learned in the space you're in. So, allow that flow and the things to take shape, but be compassionate. We're too damn hard on ourselves. Like, you guys set this expectation and this bar for you that's so unrealistic. Like, it's so unrealistic, because you would never have that expectation and bar for anyone else. Like, you would never have that for anyone else. But we beat ourselves up when we don't meet it and when we fail, because we can't allow us to see outside of ourselves. So allow yourself to see yourself from a different perspective is such the key to, like, spirituality, is always learning how to shift your perspective into a different viewpoint. Allowing yourself to become the observer rather than just being in that little bubble.
Yeah. 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 I did a question to open up one of my talks earlier this year. And I said, raise your hand if you think the host is a queen. And they all rose their hands, right? And I go, raise your hand if you think you're a queen. And only half the room did. I'm like, isn't it funny how we see other people through the light, but we don't see ourselves? And that's what prompted everything I spoke about. And they're like, fuck. Like, you might want to know you're here because you are a reflection of that queen you just appointed to. So yeah, it's just looking at yourself. And I was laughing earlier, right? When you were like, we should have went straight back into the feminine. Because we went from feminine in this call to masculine real quick. You can tell. But the way we speak, it's like such a natural thing to go into move, move, move. But yeah. Coming back to the feminine, like Isabel said, it's important to slow down and be gentle with yourself. Because God, if the baby ain't nurtured, if the baby doesn't have a diaper, we can't really take it out, right?
Right.
So easy.
Right.
This is everything we speak about is to ourselves. It's like, are you listening, Melanie? I'm like, I am. Thank you.
I feel like spirit, like, people are sometimes are like, when they're like, how's spirit sound for you? And I'm like, spirit straight yells at me sometimes.
Yeah.
Shut up. Like, seriously, like, like slapping.
Like, my angel does cocaine. That's got to tell you something. They're like, this girl. Oh, no.
Shirt.
I'm just kidding.
Cocaine. I need a shirt that says.
They're like, oh, dear God. Right? Like, who wants to take her on? We sign up. They're like, I'll take her.
I know, that's honestly, like, we're gonna have to, that's one of the things I tell people. They're like, you see, hear, and feel. And I was like, yeah, because spirit was like, there is no way to get through this girl unless we put it, like, freaking right up against her. We have to make her see the shit in order to believe it, because she ain't listening to nobody.
On us. They literally, like, put the pager inside of our soul. They're like, here, when you need help, just page us. Remember pages? I had a pager back in the day.
I had a pager. I never paid that damn bill. I don't even know. I swear everybody
It was like $2 a month.
I wonder if you and me got a pager from the same place, next to Hollywood Video in Claremont.
Oh, I understood. I got mine at Claremont Madison Square. I understand. We got that top view and the side view. That's really telling of our age. Oh, dear God. Never had a phone to call from. We just numeric our way through life.
Yeah.
143.
I was just going to say 143 to you.
Of course. I love you. I'm old.
143.
It's cool.
Dash a little 420. But anyway, so that was back.
The kids will never know. They'll never know.
Anyways. All right. Any messages for anything before we end off?
Yeah. Rest. And watch yourself fly free. It's coming.
Yeah, you guys, be patient. Be patient with yourself. Just be patient. The energy, I'll be interested to do this, or obviously I'm always reading, but see what the energy is like, because I keep hearing in 2 weeks. So there's something coming in 2 weeks.
President's Day? Valentine's Day, self-love time.
No,
it's your chance to love yourself, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful time. All right, guys. Yeah. Thank you, Mel.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you. All right, guys. Adios.